Good evening, everyone. It's nice to see all of you here. I'm Pete Jutras. I'm the director of the Hugh Hodgson School of Music. It's my pleasure to welcome you to this concert tonight, part of our great Chamber Music Athens festival, which has been going on. I know many of you have enjoyed the previous concerts, and we have great concerts coming up after this one, and tonight will be no exception. We're really pleased to collaborate with a lot of different venues for this festival, and we want to thank the Georgia Museum of Art for hosting us, in particular its director David Odo and Callan Steinman, so please join me in giving them our thanks. We also want to thank the Willson Center for Humanities and the Arts, who is the sponsor of the commission of the first piece that you're going to hear on the program tonight. So we're very grateful for their support. We are, of course, grateful to all of you, the audience, who's helping to support this festival. Many of you know that in just a very few years, this has grown to be a major chamber music festival, showing the great community support that we have here in Athens, and that's due in part to you, the audiences, who are turning out in great numbers for evenings like this. We have lots of patrons and donors in the audience. We have faculty, staff, students, staff. Even want to give a special shout out. One of our great staff members, Kathleen Powell, brought her dad, Evan, and it's his 90th birthday tonight. So, happy birthday. So the theme of Chamber Music Athens this year is around the world, and if you've been paying attention, you know that we're featuring music from all different corners of the globe, and there will be some of that tonight as well. But I was talking with the organizers, Lisa and Michael, who've done just a wonderful job on this festival, and they were telling me that really a theme for this festival could have also been the art of collaboration. And I think tonight's program really highlights that, because you're going to see this great collaboration between music and several other parts of the University of Georgia campus, other scholars, other disciplines. And it says, the top line of this program is that it's a multidisciplinary event, but I'm going to kind of make the argument that what you're going to hear tonight is a celebration of what happens organically. Now, if you talk to any musician, we'll say that there's music in everything. And I think tonight we're going to see some of that. So, there's music in art, there's certainly art in music. There's music in the spoken word, and we'll hear that tonight. And obviously, the spoken word is a big part of our musical repertoire through songs and opera and things like that. And tonight, I also think you'll see something that I believe very strongly, that there's music in nature, and that there's nature in music. So I think this is a really neat bringing together of these things, and I hope you appreciate the program tonight. Another thing that we're excited about is that this program tonight is very, very new. So all 4 pieces tonight have been composed since the last Chamber Music Athens 2 years ago. And 3 of them are world premieres, and the 4th one is a Georgia premiere. So this is all music that's been written within the last 2 years. It may be a little different than some of the other chamber music you're hearing throughout the festival, but we think that's a good thing, and we think part of our role as a school of music is to stretch the boundaries at times and expand your horizons and kind of give you some new things to listen to and assess and try. So we hope that you'll do that tonight with an open mind. I think it's really exciting, and I think you'll find the subject matter really exciting as well. And we've got lots of people here to tell you more about what you're going to hear tonight and how this is all going to work, and I think you'll find that very interesting. So I'll get out of the way. Thank you again for coming. I hope you enjoy the concert tonight, and I'd like to begin by introducing David Tilson from UGA's Warnell School of Forestry and Natural Resources, and he's going to give us some context about the first piece.
The state of Georgia is home to a rich avifauna of approximately 325 regularly occurring bird species that occupy the state for at least part of the year. An additional 102 species occur rarely or incidentally in the state, making the state total over 427 bird species. This incredible bird diversity can be attributed in part to the wide range of habitats found across the state. The beaches and salt marshes, the mountains of the north, the bottomland hardwoods, and the pine savannas, and even our agricultural areas all have a suite of species that they support. So let's take a look at some of the bird species we'll be hearing in the music this evening. American kestrels are a charismatic species of Georgia's open areas, including meadows, grasslands, parks, and agricultural fields. These falcons are incredibly flexible in flight while hunting. They can hover in place, catch large insects or small birds on the wing, and dive down to catch rodents and other prey on the ground. Organic orchardists and other agriculturalists may put up nest boxes to attract kestrels because they consume common crop pests such as grasshoppers, rodents, and European starlings. Their call is an excited series of 3 to 5 killy notes. No bird species is more representative of farmland and open grasslands throughout the eastern North America than the Eastern Meadowlark. Despite their bright bellies, meadowlarks are well camouflaged from above. These ground foraging birds are often inconspicuous until they perch on a fence post and sing a song worthy of the title lark, though they are not closely related to true larks. Their song consists of melodious whistles that slur together, gradually dropping in pitch, and their calls include a harsh chatter. Veeries are a species of thrush inhabiting woodlands and forests. They spend their winter in central and south Brazil and breed during the summer in the northern US and southern Canada. Their breeding range also has a thin peninsula down the Appalachian Mountains, and some do breed in North Georgia on the highest peaks. A veery can fly up to 160 miles in a single night, and the migration path of many takes them over the Gulf of Mexico. That's around 600 miles with no place to land. Georgia's bottomland hardwoods and forested areas are favored stopover habitats for the veery to rest and refuel along their journey. The veery gets its name from the odd veer notes in its song and calls, sounding almost metallic in tone. Veeries produce 2 notes at the same time in their song, effectively singing a duet with themselves, enabled by their divided spherings. In contrast to the veery, who only passes through most of Georgia for a brief time, red-cockaded woodpeckers are endemic to the southeastern United States, meaning they can be found here and nowhere else in the world. Their plight is tied to that of longleaf pine and other pine savanna habitats that are dependent on periodic fire for seed germination and forest maintenance. Controlled burns and low-intensity natural fires are an integral part of habitat maintenance and a key tool for preventing destructive wildfires in many landscapes across North America. Sadly, less than 1% of historic savanna acreage remains in the southeastern US due to misguided fire suppression campaigns and the conversion of habitat to developed areas and too densely planted plantations. The red-cockaded woodpecker is listed as endangered, but there is still hope. Many government and nonprofit organizations educate, fund, and help execute programs to help private and public landowners create and maintain habitat for this iconic species. While red-cockaded woodpeckers do give vocal calls, they don't sing like meadowlarks, veeries, or other songbirds. Instead, they drum on trees, making a sound that serves many of the same purposes. Eastern bluebirds are likely one of the most familiar birds to us today. However, this wasn't always the case. Bluebird populations plummeted in the early 20th century due in part to competition for nest sites from non-native European starlings and house sparrows, both of which were introduced from Europe. However, in the 60s and 70s, people started getting excited about putting up nest boxes with entrance holes too narrow for starlings. Now, eastern bluebird populations may be the highest they've been since the Pleistocene. Eastern bluebirds sing a warbling song, relatively low-pitched for a bird of its size, made up of several phrases. After we go our separate ways today and in the coming weeks, I want to challenge you to notice the birds around you. There are birds no matter where you go outside. In our cities, in our farmlands, in our forests, and on our waterways, birds are a part of Georgia. But sadly, birds are in peril. We've lost more than a quarter of our bird population since 1970. Habitat loss is the major driving factor for most species, but other major threats include outdoor cats, collisions with windows, and exposure to pesticides and other toxins. You can help make a difference. Earlier, I mentioned the Eastern Bluebird's conservation success story, which is a testament that grassroots conservation efforts can make a difference. The red-cockaded woodpecker is the rarest of the ones I discussed today, but thanks to dedicated individuals working on public and private lands, it's been pulled back from the brink of extinction. American kestrels and Eastern meadowlarks are facing serious declines, especially in the southeastern U.S., where grasslands have lost 90% of their historic acreage. But collaborative efforts from programs like Working Lands for Wildlife are working with landowners to enable them to make their property both profitable and beneficial to wildlife. Simple actions make a difference. First, I want you to pay attention to the birds around you. You don't need to know the species, just notice them and learn to appreciate them. Second, landscape with native plants. Lawn and non-native plants don't support the insects that almost all birds need for food. World Migratory Bird Day was last weekend, with this year's motto being Protect Insects, Protect Birds. Global bird declines mirror global insect declines. While the adults of many species may visit our feeders, especially during the winter, almost all rely on insects too for at least some stage of their life cycle. And lastly, reduce risk around your home. Keep your cats indoors, make windows safer by using decals or patterns that are more visible to birds, and restrict pesticides, rodenticides, and other chemicals to only the most necessary uses. We live in a rich and wonderful world. Let's keep it that way. I'd now like to introduce Jacob Skiles.
Thank you all for being here, and thank you, David, for that wonderful presentation. I'd like to draw everyone's attention to the program notes for this piece and the programs that you were given. These were written by the composer, Schultheis. I'd also like everyone to listen for the birds that you've heard in the presentation and this music tonight, but also think about how the musical colors and textures represent not just the sounds of birds, but their behaviors, their habitats, and their conservation status.